Digital Communications, Lessons 1 and 2. The Evolution of Global Communication.
Hi friends, I am Joy.
And I am Jennifer.
Welcome to the world of communication.
So, today we are going to show you the evolution of communication.
What differentiates us human from animals is the way we communicate with each other. Here we will show you a brief history of how communication system evolved. The whole journey of communication started with the caveman. The cavemen used to gather around fire to discuss their day-to-day activities. We can compare this to modern-day social networking sites such as Facebook. The one sudden day they decided to record their activities or knowledge. The cavemen then started to inscribing on the caves. We can compare this to modern-day blogging. The problem with this communication method was it was localized. When people started moving out of the cave, long-distance communication became very important.
Smoke signal. This was the first long-distance communication. It was used in Northern America where each tribe has its own signaling system. A smoke from top of the hill signified danger. Smoke signal was also used in ancient China. The soldiers stationed at the Great Wall would alert for danger using smoke signal from tower to tower. In this way they could transmit message as far as 750 kilometers within a few hours. The smoke signal is still used in Vatican to indicate the selection of new pope.
Pigeons. Due to their natural homing ability, pigeons were extensively used for long-distance communication. The pigeons were used by Persians, Romans, Greeks, Mughals. In 19th century, pigeons were also used to transmit stock quotations from one city to another. Cherami, a homing pigeon, was awarded the French War Cross for her services during World War I. TV series Game of Thrones has shown the use of raven instead of pigeon for long-distance communication.
Pony Express. From ancient time, kings have been using human messenger to relay messages. Pony Express was the first of its kind mail service delivering messages, mails, newspapers and small packages by horseback using small relay stations. It is regarded as the first courier service. It was used in the mid-19th century to communicate between East Coast and West Coast of America.
Semaphore flag. Semaphore flag was used in maritime during the late 19th century. The word semaphore is derived from Greek word sema meaning sign, and pharo meaning bearer. It is the telegraphy system conveying information at a distance by means of visual signals with handheld flags, rods and disc. It is still used during underway replenishment at sea and is acceptable mode of communication for emergency.
Telegraph. Telegraphy was the greatest breakthrough in the field of communication. Although the smoke signal and semaphore flags were different form of telegraphy, but the harnessing of electricity in the late 19th century gave birth to electric telegraphy. Morse code is still used globally as a mode of communication. Till a couple of decades ago, telegraphy was the most popular form of long-distance communication. The US discontinued the use of telegraph in 2006. India's BSNL-owned telegraph service ended in 2013. It was reportedly the world's last existing true electric commercial telegraph system.
Radio. The term radio in Latin means beam of light. In 1864, James Clerk Maxwell showed mathematically that electromagnetic waves could propagate through free space. The effects of electromagnetic waves were observed before and after Maxwell, but no one could detect its presence. In 1886, Heinrich Hertz established the existence of electromagnetic waves. In 1888, he demonstrated that one could produce and detect electromagnetic waves, which we today call as radio waves. In November 1894, Jagdish Chandra Bose at Town Hall of Kolkata ignited gunpowder and rang a bell kept at a distance using microwave. During the same time, an Italian scientist Guglielmo Marconi made an electric bell which went off during lightning. This was just the beginning of a whole new era of distant communication. Early 20th century radio system transmitted message using continuous waves only. Amplitude modulation was demonstrated for the transmission of voice and music, but with little success. World War I accelerated the development of radio for military communication. After the war, commercial radio broadcasting began in 1920 and was a big hit. World War II again accelerated the development of wartime purposes for aircraft and land communication.
Telephone. Until now, real-time communication was confined to diplomatic purposes or for broadcasting. Still, telegram was the fastest one-to-one communication used by common people. In 1876, Alexander Graham Bell invented the telephone. At first, the benefits of a telephone exchange were not exploited. Instead, telephones were leased in pairs to a subscriber, who had to arrange for a telegraph contractor to construct a line between them, for example between a home and a shop. It was a luxury that only rich people could afford. Later, telephones took advantage of the exchange principle already employed in telegraph networks. Each telephone was wired to a local telephone exchange, and the exchanges were wired together with trunks. Networks were connected in a hierarchical manner until they spanned cities, countries, continents, and oceans. This was the beginning of the Public Switch Telephone Network, or PSTN. The major progress took place after the Second World War.
So friends, here we have seen history of communication started from caveman to telephone. But this is just the beginning of a golden era in the field of communication.
In the next video we will talk about how communication system evolved from wired to wireless and local to global. Also, we will see the role of government to regulate wireless spectrum, and role of private companies to develop existing network of fourth generation.
So friends, don't forget to subscribe our channel and like our videos. And stay tuned for upcoming videos.
Good afternoon. In today's lecture, we will discuss the evolution of global communication. First, we will look at how communication has developed over the centuries and what role technology has had in this development. Then, we will discuss what the future holds with regard to global communication and its technologies. From ancient times, humans have looked for ways to communicate with each other, so that they can pass on and receive information. Paintings of animals have been found on the walls of caves dating back thousands and thousands of years. It is assumed that the purpose of these paintings was to advise others about which food could be found nearby or to warn others of possible dangers. As spoken language developed, so did communication. People used to live in small communities where stories were passed down from generation to generation through an oral tradition, but the stories remained within these communities. Then, as people started travelling more, especially for trade, these stories were passed between different cultures. The rising importance of trade led to the introduction of symbols to represent numbers. This, in turn, led to words being presented through pictures. A good example of this are the hieroglyphs used by the ancient Egyptians. This was a major advance on the cave paintings mentioned earlier. Yet what was really needed was a more efficient and cost-effective way of communicating with a wider audience. It is clear that developments in technology and communication have gone hand in hand. We can see this in both the use of paper as a writing material and the invention of the printing press. Documents soon became more available, for their production was much faster and easier, meaning they could be distributed to many more people. Both the Industrial Revolution and further developments in transport ensured that information began to reach a worldwide audience quicker than it ever had before. Since then, advances in technology have nearly always brought about advances in communication. The discovery and control of electricity led to electrical telegraphy, which allowed for the development of the telegraph. This naturally led to wireless and radio telegraphy, and the era of telecommunications, radio and television. Not only through our advances in electronic technology, but also in the development of satellite communications, can we now say we are experiencing a digital revolution. The World Wide Web, email, and mobile phones mean that we truly are global citizens. Whether we want to communicate with someone on the other side of the world, or we want to see what's happening in another part of our country, we can do it all at the touch of a button. But is this a positive thing for mankind? We have moved from communicating within small, close-knit communities to being able to communicate with people from all over the globe. There are clear advantages for this. We can access information instantly. We can communicate with and know more about other countries and cultures. We can stay in contact with family or friends who may live far away from us. But are our communications real and meaningful anymore? Today, we can go for long periods of time with neither seeing nor meeting the people we are communicating with. Also, we can be glued to our devices so that we are disconnected from those around us, like our families. And we haven't finished yet. Advances in technology and communication have been so rapid over the last few decades that it is difficult to keep track, and there doesn't seem to be any sign of them slowing down. In the next part of this talk, we will look at how communication may develop in the years to come, and how it may further change our personal relationships with those